What's up, friend? Hector here from StrongestHec.com with this week's Movement Monday for the week. Today we're going to be starting a whole new movement series, but we're going to kind of continue off of the wrist and shoulder series that we did for the last 3 weeks. But this one we're going to be pretty much carrying forward, continuing with the crab position, which is basically a supine setup, which is basically being with your face up, okay? And this is something that we teach inside of the ground force method system founded by Peter Lakatosh. And we're going to be covering the crab, and we're just going to be integrating our 3 movement systems. So we've got 3 particular movement systems in our body. We've got visual, we've got proprioceptive, and we have vestibular. So visual is obviously using our eyes to move, and that's a critical piece. The moment you close your eyes, you lose one of those movement systems, and the other 2 kind of have to take up that slack. We have our proprioceptive, and that's body awareness, knowing where your body's at in space, understanding texture, temperature, all those kinds of things. And then we have vestibular, and that's in between, that's in the brain basically, and you can think of this as like internal balance or your equilibrium, and that begins to become stimulated as you begin to move your head, and it actually starts to develop 21 days after conception. So we're going to kind of integrate several of those movement systems, and we integrate them all the time as a part of the Movement Monday series, but we're going to really be working on the proprioceptive, and that's making contact from hand to foot, and we're going to be doing it from the crab position. You may have even seen this in the Ginnastica Natural by Alvaro Romano, where he goes through a lot of these different types of sequences, but we're going to keep it really simple for today. So just a continuation off of the crab, want to make sure that when we're in this position, that once we're in here in this crab position, we're keeping the chest up, and we're not allowing the shoulders and the neck to kind of come together. We want to actively push away, okay? So pretty simple episode for today. All we're going to focus on doing is bringing hand to foot, and we're going to break it down in a couple of different I guess approaches, okay? So for the first approach, it's all we're doing here is elevating 1 foot at a time, just like this, okay? So when we do this, we essentially become loaded like a 3-legged chair, okay? And that requires the body to start to activate different stabilizers in the shoulders, core musculature, all that stuff. And it's just a great way to work on that trunk coordination, okay? So bringing a foot up 1 at a time. As you begin to get that down, next thing you're going to do is you're going to bring up your hand 1 at a time. And there'll be a slight shift, okay? There'll be a slight shift, just like so. So you see I kind of shifted my weight into this hand, other hand here. So this is going to help work on that shoulder extension, okay? So I've talked about in a lot of our movement series how we spend a lot of time in flexion and not enough time in extension. So we're going to be having, our hands are going to be in extension, our shoulders are going to be in extension, and our chest, our thoracic spine is going to be extension. So we've got several different pieces of the body that are going into extension. So this is going to help reset all of the sitting that we do throughout the daytime, okay? So once we get hands, okay, you're alternating 1 hand at a time, okay? You're alternating 1 foot at a time. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to bring 1 hand and 1 foot up. So what we're doing here is we're crossing midline. It's almost like crawling, except we're in a crab position, okay? So from here, 1 at a time. Okay. Next thing you're going to do is we want to continue that crossing midline, and we want to begin to start to touch opposite limbs together. And there's a lot of cool stuff that happens in the brain when this happens. But what we're going to do is we're going to clap the bottom of our hand and our foot. We're going to clap just like this. Okay. So step 1, let's just say you're not ready for the whole crab clapping from here. You can do it from this seated position, just like this. You literally bring 1 hand up, and you touch, and you clap, okay, side to side, just like that, really simple, okay. The next thing that you'll do is you'll progress to, eventually, in this crab position. Once you establish both feet, once you establish both hands, you now come up, clap, 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 and that's it. Really simple little movement piece. So it's definitely something that you can do to take that crab series that we went over in the shoulder and wrist, and we're going to keep moving that forward over this next series. So creating that proprioceptive, that rich environment, okay? Once we bring up opposite arm and leg, our body starts to kind of teeter-totter, and we have to learn how to relearn how to reflexively stabilize that position. And every time we bring up the opposite arm and leg, that starts to happen. So now we're just going to work on connecting both left foot, right hand, right foot, left hand. And we're crossing that midline. And that's what's going to make your body stronger, more mobile, more resilient, all that good news. So that's it for this week's Movement Monday of the week. Give it a try. Leave me a comment, or if you have any questions, in the comment section below. And as always, if you're liking these videos, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. That way you stay up to date with all the latest stuff I'm talking about on movement, flexibility, kettlebells, etc. So that's all I got for you guys this week. Again, I'm Hector with StrongAsHeck.com, and this week's Movement Monday for the week.